video.
Hey, Sandstorm. I
Yep.
like
By the way,
Sandstorm
we're
more
live.
than Hey, Sandstorm. I like Sandstorm more than Frostburn. I don't care saying that. I actually do like this book.
Yeah, I can easily see that, but okay, honestly, after going through both of them, I pretty much agree with you, but we'll get to that as we get inside.
Yep.
On the other hand, you're comparing Sandstorm to Frostburn, so
Sandstorm, second most popular book on our channel.
second
Was
most
the first
popular
one for a
terrain
while.
book on our
I'm
channel.
sorry. Frostburn, second most popular book on our channel. Not terrain book.
I can guarantee you this is at least going to be the second most popular terrain book on our channel. This is the second one we're doing.
It's the second one. But it's like, Frostburn, second most popular book we've done this on so far. Unfortunately, I'm then required to say, put some respect on its name.
So yeah. How we got over that. So, much like Frostburn, Sandstorm uses the catch-all term wastes for places that done be hot and or sandy and or dry. And yeah, the waste. Just various reasons why there are wastes, desertification, global warming, as natural instigation of how wastes come about, or as magical instigations of how wastes come about, also global warming. So you heard it here first, global warming, a wizard did it.
Can't blame all your problems on wizards.
This is D&D, I can blame a great deal my problems on wizards. It's a medieval society, carbon emissions aren't shit at the moment. But yeah, various things being sinking in the sands. So, in general, I honestly say this as a more diverse range of climates than you would expect, but still falls in the same logical issues as cold terrain as far as rules are concerned. It's a little harder, however, to dress for heat than it is for cold. You can always put on more clothes. You can't. Yeah, at a certain point, you're done taking off clothes. And also, that's only a fraction of the problems. As you still have to deal with stuff like, sandstorms and the fucking sun. Taking off all your clothes is a great way of getting sunburned.
Yep.
Oh.
I know how to get away from the sun and make sure I don't get sunburned. I'm going to remove all my skin. Wait, no. Yeah. This leads to new problems.
But yeah, mundanely, you can't produce cold. You can only move heat. Though magic cares not about such nonsense as thermodynamics. So there are ways around it in D&D that you don't account for, but still an issue. Also has the same issues. Yeah, weather also has the same issues as cold terrain, but magic solutions may be needed where mundane ones can't be found, even for mundane problems of getting around. Let's see. Also, extraplanar wastes. As other planes, there are layers on other planes that very much resemble deserts.
Yep.
Yep.
Black Eternity of Gehenna.
Yeah.
Etc. Etc.
Yep. Carcerai as well. One of the planes is a desert. Yep. And various things it goes over. This being 3.5, it is extreme rulesification of basically everything.
Yep. They are also, do remember that deserts also get freezing cold at night, so...
Yes, they do.
You do have to basically deal with both temperature scales.
Yes. Yeah, night is extremely cold. Dehydration can be a thing too, but that's strangely one of the easiest things to solve with magic. Also, yep. Also, desiccation damage is a thing. It does. It does was. So there's no there's a new type of damage in this book that is called desiccation.
Yep.
There's nothing innately attached to it, but stuff will say if it does extra effects, like like sometimes it will dehydrate. Dehydration also being a status condition that, for the most part, is fatigue. That can be overcome by drinking a bunch of water.
Yep.
It's also rules for dehydration if you're caught in the desert without drinks, which is basically plot contrivance, or you're really bad at preparing. Also notable, desiccation is spelled wrong on this page and a few other times in this book, and then it's spelled right later. It is actually Desiccation. It's two C's, not two S's.
Occasion. Sandstorms.
Yep. So one thing,
those ones that kill people.
Yeah. Yes, flensing sandstorms. This straight up does lethal damage. But yeah, one thing this climate is actually good for is mundane ways of leading the party astray / into plot hooks using like sandstorms or good old Hollywood style mirages and such.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, yeah, supernatural mean stuff can throw off your players for reasons. Sometimes it's flavorful for what's happening, but a little goes a long way here. Yeah, when in strange flesh.
The necrotic flay wind, which is a flay wind that also brings things back as undead.
Yeah. It's like, how mean do you wish to be? Because we got stuff for you, but oh man, do we have stuff for you.
Yep.
Also, new poisons in the middle of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, poisons for crystal scorpions and dune winders. I'm pretty sure it is in this book.
Yes.
Added
and volcanic gas.
Plains of glass.
Yep. Plains of glass, petrified forests. Yeah, there's probably a lot more variety in general to desert and waste style terrain than there actually is to cold style terrain, which can make things more interesting.
Yeah, Badlands can have cliffs with often appear in forests.
Yep. And also, yes, as is usual, all these terrain types have way too many rules for them. Because, 5th edition, or 3.5.
Yep.
Alright, I am gonna drop out of the stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will talk to you guys later.
Yep. Oh, good. Let's see. Yep. Races, classes, and feats. Let's see. The race variants here just swap basically certain race. Yeah. So there's 2 new races and the 3 reskins for previous races. The reskins are just basically swapping various minor features for desert survival stuff.
Yep.
As far as the new ones are concerned, starting with this one, Asheratus. They're desert dwellers who live and swim under the sands, humanoid with no body hair, rust-colored skin, and they can make themselves glow. They have a pointed natural armor, some, again, desert survival stuff. They can swim through sand, dust, ash, etc. Basically any soft earth. They can't swim through. They're not going to swim in the middle of a forest, but like they can swim through dunes, no problem. Also, they can glow as a 60-foot light source, and once per day, as a free action, force all within 30 feet to make a fort save or be dazzled. The weakest debuff in the game. Let's see. They also have water vulnerability, which is more a flavorful weakness that may come up on occasion. It's if they're wet, they have a minus 1 to d20 rolls, and they can't hold their breath when they're in water.
Yeah.
They're fine. They require specific terrain to take advantage of sand swim, and nothing else here all that interesting.
Yeah, if you're in a desert campaign, sure.
Yeah. I'm also amazed they got away with a +1 natural armor without them panicking and throwing a +1 level adjustment on them.
Yeah, no level adjustment. Yeah.
Yep. And the other race in this book, Buka. Peaceful and cautious desert farmers who are probably goblinoid in origin. As desert dwelling race ace as it gets, with its class features that are useful pretty much nowhere else, with the notable exception of always treating knowledge nature as a class skill. Seriously, you could just make them immune to dazzle flat, not just from the bright sun. But
But if we made them immune to dazzle, that would reduce the effectiveness of the Asherati. And their once per day dazzle effect.
They're walking light, right? That's actually what they are. But yeah, characters in the waste. Going over. There's a few. This is going over classes and what as it pertains to the waste, and has some variant class features that are pretty much, I think, almost not worth going into, because most of them are like, here's stuff that helps you survive the wastes. Okay. Yeah. I think this one was a notable exception of different bonus feat, basically, in place of improved uncanny dodge, which is mostly worth replacing. Improved uncanny dodge is basically, it makes it so you can't be flanked unless it's by a rogue of, I think, 4 levels higher than you.
Higher than you, yeah.
Yeah. But practically nothing in the monster manual actually has sneak attack, which is really what you're trying to prevent.
So at best, it's getting rid of a +2 if it's multiple creatures attacking you and they actually flank.
Yeah. So training it off for, like, a free feat, depending on what the feat is. Notably, Blazing Berserker might actually be worth trading this off for a feat, but we'll go over why later, because I find it funny. But yeah, in the clerk section is also various deities. Like, they're I'd like to say unique D&D sand deities, but I'm not entirely sure on that. In addition, here's the Egyptian pantheon and the Babylonian pantheon.
Pantheon, yep.
Yeah. You want to worship Gilgamesh?
Worship Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
Worship Bubba Hotep.
Yep. And new feats. And new feats I care about. So back to that Blazing Berserker thing. This is literally the opposite of Frozen Berserker, so it gives you the fire subtype. Yep. The part I find funny here is there is nothing that stops you from taking this feat and Frozen Berserker for Prosper, giving you immunity to both fire and cold.
Fire and cold?
Yep.
Yep.
Is this good? No, probably
more
not.
Damage from something you take no damage from.
Exactly.
But it is a cute use of 2 feats.
1 feat if you're replacing improved uncanny dodge with Blazing Berserker.
True.
Immune to 2 energy types while raging for a feat. That's not awful. Let's see. Eagle's Fury, which is just straight up you get an extra attack while using Eagle's Claw, which is, it's a light high crit weapon that is, notably it's martial for Asherati, so this feat is just straight up
a good
extra
thing for them. If you're playing one, you might as well take it.
Yeah. Also in here is another one of the god feats that gives you Clerk as a favorite class, which is a couple of those, but they're more interesting than good. But it's another way of just trying to get around multi-class penalties if you somehow magically danced into one. Heat endurance and improved heat endurance, which is if your entire campaign is set in the desert and your DM is absolutely using all the rules from this book in every detail possible, these can be fairly good.
Yep.
Also, improved heat endurance does actually give you 5 fire resist,
or
increases your fire resist by 5, which isn't terrible.
Yep.
You can also just cast Endure Elements.
Well, you could, but what if you don't have a wizard party?
Also notable and weird in here is 3 different variants on Stunning Fist. Or rather, 3 Stunning Fist feats that let you do something else when you do Stunning Fist. Yeah, like Pharaoh's Fist, which is AoE Stunning Fist. Rattlesnake Strike, which is Fort Saver, they take a bit of con damage. Effectively con poison. Serpent Strike, which lets you attack once per round 5 feet further than normal for higher Stunning Fist use. because we can't make this good. Yeah, then the Scorpion line of feats here. Which is how... Let's see. Oh yeah, Scorpion's Grass, sorry, is another one of the Stunning Fist feats, I believe.
No, grappling.
No,
feat.
it's a grapple feat, that's right.
Yep.
Attack with an arm shot. Oh, that's right, this is a grapple feat that was actually worth a shit.
Yeah, it lets you hit and then grapple.
Yeah, lets you hit and then grapple is a free action. Which is what you're looking for, really, when it comes to any of these feats.
And lets you do it with lighter one-handed weapons. So.
Yeah, but you have to, I think, drop the weapon, or it's a bit hard. But if you're a monk, realistically, you're usually punching.
If you're using a one-hand weapon. If you're using a light-hand weapon, you can just attack the creature for light weapon every round.
Yeah. But yeah, here is, the Scorpion line, which more notably are actually terrain feats, i.e. these give you bonuses when you're in terrain, but are done a lot better in the sense that, hey, if you're not in the terrain, it at least does fucking something.
Yeah, just better if you're in the terrain, but otherwise still useful.
Yeah. Like, here's a minor hide bonus, and we reduce how far scent can actually detect you, which is nice for anyone sneaking around in general.
Can detect things within 10 feet of you or 20 feet if it's in dust or loose earth.
Yeah. And Searing Spell, which is the opposite of I forget the guy's one, but is basically like you ignore fire resistance, which is fairly common to run into. You still do half damage to things that are immune to fire, which is also common to run into.
And double things that are vulnerable.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of the inverse of the cold one in the sense that the first paragraph is more important for the fire one. The second paragraph is probably more important for the cold one because you'll run into more fire subtype creatures than cold subtype creatures generally.
Yep.
Also,
immunity to fire is more common than immunity to cold.
Also, for some fucking reason, touchstones are in this book. So these originally appeared in the Planner Handbook. Basically, if you have this feat, you can select a place and you get a minor bonus, as well as the ability to gain charges by visiting that place and doing some strange thing. As a summary of what they do.
Yep.
This is far less annoying than in the Planner Handbook because it's literally the touchstone feat, and then the next page is touchstone sites, and that's the only parts of this book that reference it. Not, we're going to refer to touchstones several times throughout this book.
Well before it ever shows up.
And then throw all the touchstone stuff in the back, other than all the stuff talking about it.
Yep.
Also, I do actually kind of like the touchstone sites in this book, not the least of which is because they're just a lot more usable since you don't have to travel to different fucking planes.
Yeah, it's like you're just in a desert. You found the sunken city of Pazar. You found the pyramid of Amun-Re.
Also notable is that some of these are actually fairly neat. Like Healing Waters of Abu-Ima is very notable for its higher order ability. So basically, just taking this, you straight up go once per day, cure serious wounds or remove disease. Which is great if you're fighting mummies, actually.
Higher order just raise dead.
Yeah, the higher order is just raise dead.
Once per week.
Yeah, once per week, and you get 2 charges of it, so you don't even have to come back until after 2 party deaths. It's like, is this worth a feat? No, probably not, but it's closer than it usually is.
Like, these are also nice in that, like, as you can see, they basically have a climbing up through the encounter level, so there's a decent number of them listed here. It's like, okay, when you first come up here, this is probably what you'll fight. Here's a random encounter table if you just want to throw a random encounter here when they first arrive to it.
Yeah. And also, as an aside, these are also nice things that you can just throw as, like, various set pieces into a desert campaign. Like, you run across the pyramid of Amun-Re. If they don't have the touchstone feat, they don't know about the option now, and they can just pick it up for whatever reason.
Like, okay, well, you found it. You know where it is, so if you want to grab the touchstone feat later on, come back to it and you get the bonus.
Yeah. Well, let's see. All right, on to prestige classes. Starting with one I actually kind of like, the Ashwar Dragoon.
Yeah.
It is a mounted class that rides a sandworm that is legally distinct from Shai-Hulud, the great desert worm of Arrakis. May the world be cleansed by its passing.
Correct. Yeah, it's more just like a regular,
it's
like
also
armored worm with a poison table or poison tail.
It's effectively it's a cousin of the purple worms, actually. but like is large size, so it's more appropriate for a mount.
A mount.
But yeah, the mount is a proper companion, scales well enough. It's actually fairly solid with the class.
Yeah,
You just
it gets
into
bonus hit dice and natural
yeah.
armor.
Other than that, this class also gains, let's see, 2 fighter bonus feats, the ability to make its sting attack good to class level times per day. Basically, instead of using its attack bonus, it is your base attack bonus, and the DC is based on your character level as opposed to its
one
hit
half
dice.
character level plus its con modifier.
Yeah. It bumps it up slightly. It's not actually that big a bonus, but it's also free, so sure, why not? Because it will be scaling as well, because it's scaling up its own hit dice. And
yes, and
every
4 levels can still get a stat free, so it can still increase its con.
Yeah.
If you want to scale, just want to scale the poison DC up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also like a 2d6 strength poison, so
oh yeah, it's just a good poison in general.
It's just a good poison.
Yeah. Let's see what else this has. Oh yeah, the ability to negate as many hits on its mount as it wants with ride checks. So yeah. So Sight I don't think I've gone over in 3.5 is basically you can make a ride check every time your mount is attacked to if the ride check is higher, you just make that attack miss. It's only normally doable once per round. They get the ability to just do it as much as they want.
Every time someone dares to attack your mount, you can just throw a ride check to negate. So basically, you replace the thing's AC with your ride check if it's better than its AC effectively.
Yeah. What this realistically means is NPCs stop attacking your mount, partially because this thing can actually take hits, so it's not really worth attacking the mount, and partially when you can just negate it with a ride check, which is almost certainly going to be a fairly high number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this thing's not going to have an insignificant AC as it goes up, because that's a pretty
no. Once it gets the extra plus 12, it's sitting on a 26.
26, possibly higher, depending on what else you do. You could also buy barding for those, technically.
You could buy barding for it. That's correct.
You'd have to give it a feat for armor, but you could buy barding for it.
I mean, it's going to get 10 extra hit dice. It's going to get feats.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you want to make its poison better, since that's a special attack it has, there's a monster feat to increase the DC.
Yeah. Other things it says, trample, except it does a sting instead of a stamping with the hoof, with an added bonus of if it knocks them down, it also eats the entire turn rather than their standard move action to get up.
Mounted full attack at level 7.
Yeah. Yeah, the ability to ride mounted full attack. Full attack after it makes its normal mood. Also, the ability to ride it as it burrows through sand, which also gives a strange type of evasion. Basically, this thing has its own type of evasion where it ducks under the earth in order to avoid, because it has a burrow speed, obviously it's a worm, where it ducks under the earth in order to avoid AoE attacks.
Lets you basically, you have to make a save, otherwise that just lets you do it.
Yeah, that lets you do it. Let's see. Also gives you the Spirited Charge feat, which lets you do 2 times damage when charging, or 3 times with Lance. Or if you already have it, adds plus 1d6/2d6. And the capsule lets it actually, it can burrow through pack turf normally. It lets you actually burrow with it through pack turf. Basically, there's 2 tiers of riding along when it burrows.
Yeah, level 6 sand riders, let's go through like sand and that kind of stuff. Level 10 is you can just ride wherever you can burrow.
Yeah, it can't burrow through stone or anything like that, but like it could go through packed earth and stuff like that. So basically, if you're like in a like stone cave, it can't burrow, or if you're in like an actual like dungeon proper, or something like that. But like a good deal of combat encounters you'll generally run into in a fantasy setting will at the very least have packed earth under your feet, unless there's been a crazy amount of paving going on the planet for some reason. Roads everywhere.
It's client. It's good.
Yeah. It's a unique and interesting mountain class that does something different and fun, enough to actually be worth it. It's like it's pretty solid actually.
It is one of the reasons why I like this book. Like this is a good class.
Yeah. Let's see, the Lord of Tides. It's strange style. It makes a little bit more sense when you read into it. But divine class, that's all about finding the lifeblood of the earth, and by that way I mean water. Its main feature is finding potable water, or this thing that does a D8 per class level desiccation damage, still spelled wrong, and fatigue to something within 30 feet with a fort save for half and no fatigue, eventually usable 4 times per day. I believe this one uniquely has the need for them to drink water in order to overcome it, too. Or to... Where did I lose this ability? Release the water within.
Yes. Desiccation damage cannot be healed until the creature drinks at least 1 quart of water.
Yeah. That is unique to this ability as far as I saw.
Also, if it kills someone, it makes a water method.
Yes, it makes a water method for a bit of time. Let's see, other things. They gain 5-foot burrow speed. Sure, why not? The ability to summon elementals, starting with water and eventually also fire, that scale well enough with class level, actually. The ability for you and up to 8 friends to take a 1 minute per class level trip to an elemental plane with absolutely no safety features attached.
It does very specifically say it grants no protection against environmental hazards. Chosen plane.
Yep. And a capsule that lets you craft permanent portals to elemental planes. They're not cheap, but they don't actually cost XP.
Yeah. 30k.
Yeah. Level loss isn't a big deal in this class, but its class features are kind of okay as well. Dealing desiccation damage is amusing unless you run into enemy healers fairly often. The water drinking clause is likely a non-issue. Also, they could just heal the other damage that it was more than likely done by that isn't the desiccation damage.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not losing much though. One level, like one spell casting level for 4 times per day just do 10d8 to someone.
Yeah, that part's fine. Not awful. It's fine. The summons are also a little bit extra. There. Let's see. Sandshaper. Okay. Arcane casters that give up spell levels for sand and sand accessories. For the first caster level loss, they gain, let's see, +1 caster level in wastes or while carrying 15 plus pounds of sand. A bunch of free spells known, some of which might be good. I mean, a bunch of free spells known.
Spells known, yeah.
Yep.
Including the new summons.
Yep, including the new summons. Sandshape. An ability that lets you fabricate temporary mundane things from sand, provided you can pass a caster level check, which you can take a 10 on. Once per day ability to turn into a sand form, a quasi-sand elemental thing with elemental immunities, as well as blind sight and a burrowing speed. Once per day overland flight that has to stain wastes. The ability to craft temporary sand animals for utility purposes that last a very short period of time for how long it takes to craft. 3 to 4 times per day, apply empower, enlarge, extend, or silent, so realistically empower and enlarge, to a spell you cast while in waste terrain. And the ability to bury all but your head in waste in order to regenerate.
Yep.
Which is great if the DM likes to chop off body parts. So the second caster level loss gives you the 5th use of your meta magics, as well as adding maximize and enlarge to the list. The capstone, which resurrects you if your body is buried in waste within 100 years of your death.
Yeah, you die, your friends just bury you in the dirt and you come back to life.
Yeah. So this class has problems outside of deserts, obviously, and while in its own setting there are some creative tools here, they're far too nerfed in some areas, such as, okay, you spend 15 minutes to make a warhorse that lasts for 2 minutes. You also need a lot of sand.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. So the best thing I can think of here is allowing a player to mostly finish with making several different things in advance and then just finish them on the spot. You're also going to need a lot of sand and bag of holding to do that. But yeah, all the sand crafting stuff is like, did you think about how long it takes them to craft this stuff? There's actually a limit to class level for the amount of things you can have going, and I'm not sure how you even reach this limit with how long it takes you to craft everything and how long they actually last. It's like you might hit this limit at lower levels with like sand shape because it is like it takes 1 minute per DC to craft it. So on the lower level DCs you can. With the shaped animals, I have no idea when you would ever hit a class level amount of animal shape because it's like the animals last. Yeah, they last 1 minute plus 1 round per level. This is going to take you 20 minutes to make. You can have class level amounts of these animals around, but I don't know how you make class level amounts of these animals.
Oh.
Like the camel, I think, is the only exception here because it has like the 10 minutes per level duration at least. Yeah, it's not awful, but it's not great either. Like it's probably not worth the second loss of level adjustment because I don't think anything past that would like Desert Shroud. It's funny, but who cares almost.
Yeah.
Let's see, Scion of Tem et Nu. So I didn't go over the gods earlier, but this is the matron deity of the pantheon of plains folk known as the bringer of life, water, and the provider of wealth and the means to victory to justify her having more as one of her domains. It's a martial class with some casting progression and a strong water focus. The abilities include the casting progression, standard action, 5 temporary HP per level up to twice per day, water walk up to 3 times per day, fast healing 5 when in or adjacent to a river, smite evil go up to 2 times per day, divine power, which is your base attack becomes your character level. You gain a +6 enhanced strength and 1 HP per caster level. You eventually can do this twice per day. Control water 3 times per day. Restoration for free for bathing. Doesn't have to be in a river. You can just take a bath.
Completely immerse yourself in water.
Yep. And you can divert a river. Yep. There's a class.
Yep.
Most of the class abilities are fairly conditional to be generous, and divine power is kind of mostly useless as a spell for a martial. If you're playing, going into this from paladin, just don't. If you want a martial caster multi-class prestige class, keep looking, and I promise you'll find something better that you can adapt to a water theme. You can be a water theme Shadowblade Inquisitor, I promise. Water Bane Inquisitor. Wait, no.
Water Bane Inquisitor.
Yeah. Hippo Bane Inquisitor. No.
Desiccation Bane Inquisitor. Desiccation Bane Inquisitor.
Right. Scorpion Heritor. Which is certainly a word.
Beneath every stone lurks a scorpion.
So, right. Rogue prestige class that requires no great commitment to get into and has full sneak attack progression and skills. Yeah, like I don't think survival is one of their class features nor knowledge nature, but you can have 4 ranks by the time you have 8 ranks in hide anyways. So you can straight just go 6 levels in rogue. The only thing you have to take is Scorpion's Resolve, which is not a bad feat.
It's +4 to mind affecting, which is fine.
Yeah. So what you get other than not really, you also have like full on 8+ int skills. I think this is pretty much, I think this was pretty much straight up the rogue list because I think even like,
with basically the rogue list, correct?
Yeah. So
but also presumably knowledge, nature, and survival.
Yes, they did put knowledge, nature, and survival on here. So yeah, it's themed off of Scorpion. It gives you free feat that gives you a small bonus to hide and makes you harder to find with Sand and improves. It gives you the Scorpion feats. This has a prerequisite of Scorpion's Resolve. It gives you the other 2 Scorpion feats. Also, the ability to turn into a tiny monstrous scorpion once per day for a minute. 3 times per day, free action to poison your weapon or bite. It's a D4 con poison. On a failed fortitude save, a DC of 15 plus wisdom, so it's okay-ish.
Yep.
You become immune specifically to scorpion poisons. And once per day, scorpion tail that does con damage and lasts for an hour. So, which is not the capstone. It's right before the last sneak attack.
Correct.
Yeah. If you're planning to stick with rogue anyways, this is mostly better than the default, but
it's not. Rogue plus.
Yeah. But then again, not by much. Rogue does get class features. It's not a blank class past certain levels, but more levels than not that aren't sneak attack are blank. So you do get there are more features in general. The quality of them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you are trading out like the special talent stuff at level 10 plus, which can be good. Like improved evasion and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's decent as a alternate way you can do rogue, or like alternate,
Yeah.
upper progression of rogue, so it's fine.
Yeah. Let's see, and finally for prestige classes, Walker in the Wastes, a divine class all about being hot and dry. The buy-in for the class is a loss of a caster level that gets you Desiccating Touch, the first instance of this book of spelling Desiccating right. That is an at-will touch attack for 1/2 your class level of d6s in desiccation damage with a fort save for half for some reason. There's no special attack. There's no special effects attached to the desiccation damage by default for this ability, so it's a type of damage that it doesn't do.
Yeah.
Let's see. The ability to turn sand into a war crime. A passive aura of hotness. +2 natural armor and immunity to deserty things. Once per day, Fleshed Assault, which does a d6 damage per 2 levels, which is 5 at most because the caster level is equal to your class level here. With a fort save or die if you do half or more of that target's HP. It only actually turns them into salt if they take enough damage, basically.
Take enough damage, yep.
Yeah. The ability to create sand golems and salt mummies. Which notably, this is actually the only entry for salt mummies. They're not actually in the monster section.
Yeah.
And severe improvement to your passive aura of hotness in both range and degrees once you get to level 9.
Oh yeah, they become a lich.
Yeah, and the second caster level loss makes you into a dry lich, which is why you took this class in the first place. Let's fucking be honest.
Here's some middling stuff and immortality.
Yeah, class features aren't. The class features that aren't dry list mostly kind of suck for anything but being an evil twat and harassing the helpless, as even the highest level of heat you make does stuff once every like 10 minutes, so it's not, you're not doing anything in combat here, you're just annoying people around you. The salt mummies might be worth taking, but it's also a level 8 ability, or creating as minions or something, but yeah. On the other hand, dry lich, which is lich without all the normal fuss, though it does technically it does jump you up 5 levels from the level adjustment.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
whatever. My character's already built at that point, and I'm a lich.
Yeah, basically. All right, equipment.
I'll level slightly slower. Boo.
Yeah. Almost nothing terribly interesting here, other than the. Where is... Oh, yes, the Scorpion Tail Whip, which was a very swingy 1D43.
I remember that misprint.
Also poisons on a crit with whatever you've put into its 1-dose bladder, which is still not worth the feat to use this, unless the DM really is letting you get away with the D43.
Which they will not.
No, because they're not morons.
Yeah, I think they had a bigger scimitar.
Yeah, they did have a great falchion, a great scimitar, which is
great scimitar, just a diced up scimitar.
Yeah.
Throb brashes, which are that weird looking sword, that you may have seen before. The one there on the right that has the
this thing, yeah.
T-shaped head with the other blade on it.
Yeah.
Well, throwing hand blades, basically. The Eagle Claw is also in here, which has that special interaction with the we had the feet for it. It's way hooked little dagger there on the bottom image.
Yeah.
Right side.
Yeah, number... Yeah, that thing. Yeah, it's the double hook dagger, basically. That yeah, it basically it has its own feat for basically rapid
Oh
shot.
no, the double hook dagger is the battle horn.
Huh?
It's the one to the right.
Oh, I'm looking
Number
at these
4.
backwards. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is this thing. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's actually a double weapon.
The battle horn is, yes.
Yeah. Other than that, wasteland armor, which is yeah. So unsurprisingly, if you're wearing metal armor, it is a severe bonuses to fortitude save or severe penalties to fortitude saves versus heat.
Shock.
So yeah, basically alternate armor, so you don't overheat. Fins to disperse heat. Also the hide shield, which is kind of a half ground, or is kind of a half measure between a tower shield and the normal one.
Shield
So
function.
it still kind of sucks, but only kind of because it's a -1 penalty on attack rolls, and so -2 what would you shoot normally go with tower shield. Various gear for waste campaigns basically. Also mounts, including ashworms, because you can just buy them as mounts. They're not as good as
Yep.
if
They
you're
don't
doing
have
class,
stingers.
obviously, but yeah, and they don't have stingers.
They also will occasionally just go under the ground and sweep you off them.
Yeah. Also vehicles that you can buy.
Oh, I don't think we touched on it when we were on that. There's also a special thing for Paladin Ashworms. Or Ashworm.
There
Yeah.
was there was. I did not touch on it.
Which I
Yes,
think like
Dragoon
that's for the
Paladins.
stinger, but then lets them get all the benefits of being the Paladin mount.
Yes, it will stack with they gain all the benefits of being the Paladin special mount. Which, granted, you're only going to have the levels of Paladin that you normally have.
You are, but it also lets you summon
But yeah, it does let you summon it, which is nice.
Which is nice if you're out of the desert.
Yes.
Popped in my head because Ashworm came back up.
Yeah. Alright, and magic. Starting with Drift Magic, which was a feat from earlier than they describe what the feat does here, because reasons. So yeah, if you have the Drift Magic feat, you can use Drift Magic as described on this page. Which is mainly something you can do in the wastes. So let's see. Using Drift Magic to use Drift Magic character special health. Great. Sir.
Basically, if you're in Dirt, Dust, Ash, use Drift Magic for free. If
Yeah.
you're not in Drift, Dust, or Ash, use Drift Magic as a move action. Adds +1 to the caster level of Earth descriptors or things that deal desiccation damage. It's basically an extra thing you can do when casting normal spells.
Yeah.
To give +1 cast level.
They also learn Flame Burst as a 4th level spell instead of a 5th level spell.
Correct.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Right. So all the actual spells. Anti-Fire Sphere, which is exactly what it says on the tin. Here's a 10-foot radius of you're immune to fire damage.
Uh-huh.
Or everyone is immune to fire damage. Let's see. Blast of Sand, which was actually a decent plaster spell for, especially as it's on the druid list. Yeah, Cone.
It's also nice that it's not element. It's a cone that's not elemental. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's non-elemental, so this is typeless damage. Basically, nothing's going to stop the damage. It doesn't have spell resistance, so nothing's going to. Yeah, it's you're straight up going to do this damage mostly.
Yep.
The only thing is the cap's a little bit aggressive at 10d6, but
yeah, it's a lower cap than like Cone of Cold would have, but
yeah.
You don't have to deal with an element, so you don't have to deal with like, oh, it's immune to cold. My spell is nothing.
Yeah. Mantle of
Give the fire subtype.
Yep, you can just straight up get the fire subtype. So you just pay for casting of this, then
yeah, I mean sure.
Yeah. Awakened Sand, which that's the entire descriptor that I need here. What? Do you want to make sentient masses of sand?
Yep, it's instantaneous, so you just do it and it's done. you make sand creatures.
Yeah, Hydrate, which only specifically heals desiccation damage, but does get rogue dehydration, which I guess this is good if you know specifically what your DM is doing.
Yep.
We're gonna be fighting a dry lich. Okay, we want this spell.
No. Yeah. I mean, it is otherwise a straight cure moderate wounds.
No, because it only does desiccation damage.
I mean, that's like it heals the same amount as cure moderate wounds, but does desiccation damage.
Yeah.
It's like if you know you're doing a waste thing where it's going to be necessary, sure, but otherwise,
Yeah.
Flame Wind Burst. That's but you can get as level 4 spell if you do.
Yep. So yeah, 60-foot cone. Let's see, D6 per level. In addition
Also
to
type
possible
1.
wind effects. Yep. Yeah, so in addition to the damage, also as a fort save or randomly screws with things. It's not actually a bad spell. That's the that is the thing about it, because not only does it do damage, it actually has a decent amount of CC effects.
Yeah, it's like small creatures can get pushed up to 40 feet, taking extra damage per 10 feet.
Yeah,
Flying things are blown all around and take extra damage. Medium creatures are blown back or knocked prone.
Large and huge things might be will be unable to move. Or flying there blown back 1d x 5 feet.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
For a typeless damage that is also then just a like push things back, knock things over, knock targets prone, etc., etc.
It is just basically a better blast of sand at when it's a 4th level spell. Yeah, because it's also just typeless damage and is also a no spell resistance. Bigger cone too. Let's see. Protection from desiccation, which you're temporarily immune to dehydration.
Yep.
When this is useful, it's really useful. Also prevents
prevents damage basically.
Yeah.
Scimitar of Sand, which actually is better on the tan than it appears.
Yeah. You just straight up summon a scimitar for yourself. It's a touch attack, does a d6 plus 1 per 2 caster level, which is okay-ish.
Also has fortitude for dehydrated on every hit.
Yes, that's actually more useful part.
As we went over, dehydrated is immediately fatigued.
Yeah. Which is a good debuff, especially if you have other ways of making things fatigued, which just goes into exhaustion at that point.
There's also nothing that says I can't just take this weapon and hand it to someone who actually has a base attack bonus.
Yes, you can also do that. They don't add their strength modifier to the damage, but if they're doing some funky shit,
but if they were already using like Dex or something, they weren't getting it anyways. Hey, Rogue, you now get to do touch attacks. Guess who doesn't? Gets a sneak attack in every single swing.
Yeah, exactly. They don't get a sneak attack on every single swing. They have to be denied Dex, not touch attacks. But they can...
that's true. Touch attacks use Dex, other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
they're not going to miss.
Have this better attack that you're not going to miss.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, Sandstorm. Which is the... Surprised we haven't done that yet.
I'm only going to do it once.
Yeah.
That has never stopped us before.
No, it hasn't. But yeah, is also just a fairly good battlefield control, because it does exactly what it says. It makes a sandstorm right the fuck here.
A 40-foot radius, 40-foot tall sandstorm with all the expected effects.
Yeah. The expected effects of, you don't want to be in this thing. Also wins.
Every 3 caster levels let you increase or decrease strength by 1 level, so you can just throw up a tornado strength wind, have fun.
Yeah.
But the rules for the sandstorm stuff were early on. They're not going to be great for you.
Yeah, in general, it just sucks. Also in here, as we went over earlier, summon Desert Ally. It's just easier to copy this page because it works exactly like summon Nature's Ally. Except different
list.
Yeah. And as you would expect, it's fine. It basically fills the same role as Summon Nature's Ally would. It's here's various thing for combat, or occasionally maybe you might find something for utility, but mostly it's mostly things that done help you fight. Like I summon this lion.
Yep, summon lion. I summon Tyrannosaurus.
Yep,
a monstrous colossal scorpion.
Scorpions go up to gargantuan.
Or sorry,
Spider's
monstrous
colossal.
colossal spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, colossal spider. Gargantuan scorpion. Colossal centipede.
Yep. Ah, dire tortoise.
Yeah, it's a tortoise, but has bone spikes.
And finally, Flash Flood, which does exactly what it says, and I'm not going to describe it because, oh my god, is this a lot of words. This is the whole spell, by the way. It starts on the previous page and just keeps going. I was actually fucking impressed on this one. Mostly because it's just describing what happens when the water gets into various places.
It's worth noting that apparently Flash Flood does 100,000 cubic feet of water.
Yes. This is a level 8 spell, so it's very much at the point of the game where you're starting to cast silly shit, and this is very much qualifies as silly shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pretty much ignore like 80 to 90% of the rules they put on this page and just imagine what the fuck happens when you summon 100,000 cubic feet of water.
A 120-foot cone-shaped water blast. The effect of which continues or lasts for one round, and then the water is just real.
Which means you have just made your own water park.
Yeah.
Also, psychic powers in this book. Inconstant location was legit good. But costs a swift action every round. That's the only clause on it. Basically, you at the start of your turn as a swift action, you can just straight up teleport your move.
Okay.
Your movement speed.
Yes, swift action do teleport.
Yeah. It is a standard action to start, which is the only annoyance on it, but it's still fairly good. Especially since this is on the Psychic Warrior list, so it's not a bad thing for them to pick up like 15.
Yeah.
When they would be getting 6th level stuff. Psychic Scimitar here delivers lets you deliver there's a lot of text here, but basically it lets you deliver touch to a medium range at the cost of basically doing like a couple of temporary damage that you get back when the Scimitar disappears.
That lands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is notably also on the
it's
Lather,
like
so
it's like a scimitar spiritual weapon that then also can deliver touch attacks.
yeah.
Epic spells.
Also epic spells, which are just fucking amusing, including global warming. I told you, a wizard did it.
Yeah, that just makes global warming.
Yeah. Here is all the armor and shield special abilities, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's always fun to look at the nonsense that epic spells are, where it's like, that just makes a volcano.
Yeah.
Just a 500-foot tall mountain that you can create. It costs you 2,000 XP.
Yeah. The Beast of 1,000 Legs, Dire Drought.
Dire Drought is literally make a 1,000-foot radius area for 20 hours that does 2d6 desiccation damage per round to everything in the area.
Epic spells are silly.
It also requires a spellcraft DC, because you have to craft epic spells of like 300 something. Epic's dumb.
Epic is dumb. Yeah, 319. It's dumb, but the spells are at least funny.
I know the spells are funny, but it's just like, just don't.
Yeah. Let's see, weapon special properties, notably Desiccating is on here, which nothing will resist. 'Cause
Correct.
it's
To do
desiccating.
an extra D6 points of damage.
Yeah, it is a +2 bonus for that, and this is hardly the only time we've seen a +2 bonus for D6 points of damage nothing will resist. The burst version as well.
Yep.
Let's see. Specific items, none of which are terribly great. Rings, rods, and staffs. Let's see, wondrous items. Which I believe I did cut some out for. So first and foremost, here's the bottle of endless sand. So if your class features happen to need lots of sand, yes, you could also do sand blast if, which is not good, but it is funny.
No, but it's funny. The image is great.
Yeah, but yeah, this is basically a source of like unlimited sand. So I don't know if you're doing that one sand shaping prestige class and happen to be outside of deserts. Here, you have as much sand as you goddamn want. It is a bit expensive for it too, but yeah. Also, as a side, I hate how they put text into art sometimes.
Yeah.
Cape of the Wave is let's see. Yeah, here's straight up a cape with that just helps you survive in a desert. Like, it's about 30,000, so it's a bit for that, but still. Folding sand vessel, because of course we have sand boats, so sure, why not? Here's a magical one you can just pack up. Mask of Sweet Air. This is just straight up a gas mask. Replenishing skin. No, really expensive gas mask, 147k. They really don't want you to...
Week flash flood.
Yeah. Yes, so this water skin of deluge, which lets you once per week flash flood. No, this is only like 12k for that level 8 spell.
Great.
Also, if it's destroyed, it releases one last flash flood in a direction force damage game. I don't think I'm ever late. I would buy that as a magic item. Mostly because I just don't want to resolve flash flood because I'd have to figure out what the hell is going on here.
12k disruption.
Let's see. Oh yes, replenishing skin. Here's just a water source that costs like 1k. Just in case you don't have one of these several spellcasters that can just create water. And here's a special material for the desert. Let's see. From what I remember, this is a really expensive way to bypass the damage reduction of things with the Earth subtype.
Correct.
Yeah. And by that we mean mostly Earth elementals.
Yep.
Which did remind me, I don't know why I didn't look it up beforehand. What the fuck is the damage reduction of Earth elementals?
Probably nil, I would guess.
I think so. Yeah, it is nil normally, so you normally can't. So, okay, I guess that kind of has a use, but God, is this expensive for that. And the monster section. So the first, like, dozen pages of the monster section, for some reason, were taken as poor quality photos from a completely different section. That goes back to the normal scans.
Right.
I don't fucking know why, so yeah. Any case, this apparently undead thing actually amused me. But
yeah, the Krong Apocalypse. Hey, here's a Kraken.
Yeah. We have a desert Kraken here. This is undead, apparently, too, so it's like...
It is a undead, mummified Kraken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's related to the Mar. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Crucians, which are actually a playable character race, so just a second here. Let's see. +6 Constitution bonus. +2 level adjustment, +8 natural armor. God, is this a defensive race? Okay, that's probably fine. Again, the plus... I don't know if the level adjustment is actually that aggressive on this one for once.
Yeah, like +6 con and +8 AC.
Yeah.
Yeah, +2's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Like they have no features, but it's a pile of stat and a decent chunk of AC.
Yeah. Also 4 strength. They do lose 2 dex and 2 charisma. Not that charisma matters much, but yeah. The only other thing I could see being like the armor does have to be kind of custom tailored to them, but that's something that's pretty hand wavy. Yeah, it's not bad if you want to be a turtle person.
Yep.
Desert Devil, which is notably actually a devil.
Yep.
Dinosaurs. Yep. Protoceratops. Dire animals. There's that dire tortoise.
Regular animals, but with bone spikes.
Yep. Bone spikes are on the shell as appropriate, and also on the head.
Yeah, and also on the head. Like the jackal has a bone ridge. Hey, sand dragons.
Yep, sand dragons. So sand dragons are chaotic neutral true dragons that are motivated by only by what is good for their own survival and have trouble understanding why others would think differently. They have a burrow, breath. They breathe a cone of grit that flays skin, and can cast spells the same as chromatic and metallic dragons, which is not always a feature of true dragons, actually.
Yeah, and they're technically brown dragons, so they're another.
They are another chromatic type,
chromatic.
sort of.
Yeah, they
are neutral, so that is kind of different than chromatics are, where chromatics are just all evil. They are extremely selfish neutral, so.
Yep.
But yeah, it's interesting, and they go back and forth on whether they are sand dragons or brown dragons, depending on the edition. But yeah,
like I'm pretty sure they got codified as brown dragons when you get I
think they are
the race of the dragon book. I think codifies them as brown dragons.
It might, yeah.
Also, they just look cool. I like the design.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
they fuse the like full flange wing that like golds have, but also have this cool like the spiky face.
Yeah, the
beard.
Spiky chin thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they are well designed as far as But yeah. Also, Dry Lich.
Yeah, there's that Dry Lich.
Yep. Yeah, you become. So yeah, you get to level 10 in this prestige class, and you become a Dry Lich. That is literally the only way you become a Dry Lich.
Dry Lich. Yeah, it's part of their whole little like secret group.
Yeah, it's technically when you get to level 10 in that class, you go off to your own or to that group that you done belong to, and they turn you into a Dry Lich through a secret rite.
You rip all your organs out, throw them in canoptic jars, do a whole thing, become a Dry Lich.
Yeah. And they work very much like liches. You kill them, they just come back unless you destroy the canoptic jars.
Yeah. Your regular undead stuff, your dice become D12s. You get +5 AC. You have desiccating touch. You can do full attacks with the desiccating touch.
Yeah. Which makes the desiccating touch far better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just different flavor of Lich, and there happens to be a pretty direct path to get into it, unlike Lich.
Yeah, charisma to 8, or charisma instead of con to 8 hit dice. A bunch of undead immunities, fast healing, damage reduction.
Yeah.
Con drain.
Yeah, no, it's a solid as hell template, but yeah. Makes up for putting up with the class isn't even that bad to put up with, honestly, but
no, the class is like, here's some situational stuff, but otherwise relatively fine. And then, become a Lich.
Yeah. Dune Hag, new type of Hag. Exactly what it says on the tin, but
yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Dune Winder. This game closer
the actual
to
Shia.
Yeah.
Not quite as large.
Not quite as large as it's huge, but yeah. I mean, the purple worm is pretty much as close as they get to Shia. But
yeah.
It does form creatures. Hey, do you want creatures that can fucking turn into sand?
Yep. Like, here's a big old dust form lizard.
No, this can't actually be applied to any living creature, so yeah, technically your humanoid can also be dust form.
Yes.
Half Johnny template. You want to be half genie? For +3 level adjustment, which is definitely not fucking worth this.
+2 strength, dex, and wisdom, improve initiative, resist 5 fire, planar jaunt, a couple ones. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh wait, it has one AC. That's why.
You could probably knock some level adjustment off of this, like 1 or 2 points.
Absolutely not. It knows what it did. The tree that kills people.
Where crocodile? Yes, it's a tree that kills people. Also, where crocodiles?
Where crocodiles?
Yep. Exactly what it says on the tin.
Yep. Always chaotic evil, because we can't not make evil crocodiles in games.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Does the crocodile things good at grabbing?
Yep.
That's the Gueros. The best part is the evil mouth.
Yeah, it's just the evil fucking... Yeah.
I am the evil cactus.
I don't know why we need evil cactus, but sure.
This fucker's why we have desiccation damage.
Yeah, desiccation damage does extra damage to plants.
Plants. I was just trying to get some shade. This dude pops out of nowhere.
So I was having some weird nightmares this day that they drew this.
Neutral my ass.
Yep, here's a sand golem.
God damn, that sand golem is ripped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sand golem did not skip leg day, or arm day, or torso day.
Neck day, shoulder day.
Hey. That's why you go into the class lich and turn into a dry lich and make these fuckers.
I mean, technically, you could also just take the item, or the golem crafting feat, because I don't think there's anything that would stop you from creating these.
Yeah, but I also get to be a lich.
Yes. Okay, you go to that class because it lets you be a lich. Let's not fight.
But I also
Pretend.
get jacked Sandman. What's the point of being a lich if I can't have my jacked Sandman bodyguards with me?
I mean, fair, but... various types of new sphinxes. Here's a Croco Sphinx, also evil. Also a Croco Sphinx.
Yep, also a little Jackal Sphinx.
Yep.
Or Canna Sphinx.
Yep.
Alright, I've got a riddle for you. Why haven't I eaten you yet?
Quite the riddle. The answer is man.
Because the Croco Sphinx is like challenge rating 12 will fuck you up.
Oh, no, I'm talking, that's his riddle. That's the Croco Sphinx's riddle. That's why haven't I eaten you yet?
That's a good question. Your mouth is constantly bleeding if I'm believing your picture to be believed.
Yes it is. Behold, a Thunderbird.
Nerd. Yeah, that's a Thunderbird.
Yep. Thunderbird is done.
Bunch of immunities. Immunity to Sonic.
Oh my god! It's also always chaotic. It's also a chaotic good creature. So,
good. Yes,
yeah.
got a good yes. But if your party decide to fight one, they're going to be caught off guard. Throw some Sonic damage to the thing. He's immune. I'm fucked.
The one character that specialized in Sonic damage.
Gets around those things.
It does. So it's just having enough damage to overcome the... The problem is you generally do enough extra damage of everything else to not care.
That's like the spellcasters changes his type into something else, try and get around the various energy resistances immunities, and then just runs into this asshole.
True, although Sonic is never on that list, so...
Yep.
Oh yes, the Waste Crawler! Here's a construct that, strangely enough, is from Mechanus.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is a construct that, enforces the natural laws of the universe, and specifically, it defends wastes. Punishing those who commit transgressions
against the desert itself.
Yeah.
Literally, you're trying to, fake Greenland in the middle of this waste and make, a farm? No. No, we cannot have that.
Send in the Scorpion vehicle crawler thing.
The Scorpion crawler tank with the flamethrower tail. Show the way of their hubris.
God, I want to see the Saturday morning cartoon villains that pop out of that thing.
Not villains. Lawful neutral.
I want to see the Saturday morning cartoon secondary characters that pop out of that.
The desert is inevitable.
This is the most toyetic thing I think I've seen in a monster manual. And I think I want one.
Yeah, no, I could absolutely see it as a kid's toy.
Buy now from Hasbro.
Let's see, adventure sites. Just nice set pieces from Middle of Desert. Here's the Basin of Dust, Eric's of Death Throne.
Did you completely skip the Maru stuff, or is it coming up later?
I did skip the Maru stuff. But we can go back over that. Let me pull them up, actually.
Because there's one of the big things about the Sandstorm book is constant references to the Maru.
Yes. Alright, here's a crocodile, but more specifically.
Yep.
There's the Maru spawn.
Here's one.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically a whole created race of jackal people.
Yeah.
And throughout the Sandstorm, if you're paying attention to reading the actual lore on things, the Maru get referenced a lot. They were basically in the Sandstorm book the precursor to Egyptian society, effectively.
Yeah.
They were the originators of pyramids and all that kind of jazz. You have a whole thing of you have a Maru spawn jackal or Maru spawn rogue, a Maru spawn fighter, a Maru spawn
Caster.
wizard, and then somewhere in here is the Maru spawn abomination.
Yeah.
Maru spawn abominations. The whole thing about the Marus, they basically started a big blood war and wiped themselves out. The Maru spawn themselves are still left around. Maru spawn abominations, them taking it too far and putting the spark of a god in a creature.
Yeah. Where is the... Okay, yeah, challenge rating 19, crap ton of hit points. Yeah, this thing is just fucking murderously dangerous.
Yeah, all the Maru spawn traits, a bunch of immunities, fast healing, distant spell resistance. Has a howl that fossilizes people.
Yeah, Saber straight up become fossilized. Which is flesh to stone, effectively. Yeah. Yeah, that's
quick and
just
spell
fine
like
with me.
flesh to salt.
Yeah. I mean, flesh to salt
or-
isn't good, but
But it's quicken, so it's free anyway.
it is quick.
So.
It is free, so yeah.
Yeah, summon monster 9, symbol of thirst, scorching touch, sand form, bruising.
I mean,
It gets max hit die. I mostly bring them up because they are kind of referenced, the Maru are referenced throughout this entire book as being kind of one of the underlying themes for Sandstorm.
yeah.
Ah.
Put the wrong thing there. Nor but I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was contemplating back and forth whether or not to go over them. I think I decided not to for my own sanity, but it's nice to at least go over them a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if I remember correctly, some of them had reasonable. Well, I can go back and check it, but I want to say one or two of them had reasonable level adjustments on them if you actually want to try and play one as a character.
Let's see. The caster was plus
Like
3.
Like the lurks and the assaults.
Assaults were plus 2. The lurks were only plus 1, actually. Yeah, so if we look at that for a minute. Stay there. Okay,
so you'd be a 4th level character.
Yeah, so
because they have 3 hit dice.
Yeah, they have 3 hit dice, 2 natural armor, plus 2 strength, plus 6 dex, plus 4 con, plus 6 wisdom, plus 4 charisma. I don't think any racial bonuses there.
They
just
do
have
have
point blank and rapid shot as bonus feats.
Yep.
Yeah. No, this is actually fairly strong as a character for plus 1 level adjustment.
Death attack, 2 sneak attack dice.
Yeah. Okay. Nauseating breath.
Do you want to be a rogue, but just better?
Yeah. No, this is just straight up a better.
Maru Salt, if I remember correctly, even though it has a 2 level adjustment, is also just better fighter.
Let's see. 6 hit dice.
Has pounce.
Just straight up has pounce. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Straight up has pounce. This is plus 10 strength. Yeah. So as far as player characters go, yeah, both of those are. Actually, I would say bordering over the top, but not really. But are definitely more powerful than the base options. by
Yeah,
Significant
if
Martian.
you just stick
And is
rogue or
large.
fighter onto these, they're going to be better than any other base book rogue or fighter, hands down. Even with the level adjustments they have.
Yeah, I think this is one of the few instances where the level adjustments are actually weaker than normal.
Yeah,
Or,
these are like, oh, you
lower
got
than
a
normal.
you got a +1 AC here. Eat this 2 level adjustment. This is like you gave a fighter pounce for a regular human fighter will take pounce for 2 level adjustment.
Yeah, practically speaking.
But then also give it 10 strength, 6 con, dex,
Large size by default.
large size by default, which means you're doing more damage and have better reach.
Yeah. The reach is generally what you're looking for there.
Yeah, and they're like an entirely neutral race. So there's nothing weird about like, oh, you have to throw some evil person in the party.
No, you still have to fluff justify them a little bit because they are a very
They are very tied to a waste, but like,
yeah,
if the campaign takes place near a waste, you could justify it at the very least.
they can
It'd be hard to be like,
they can just be exiles or wanderers, but it's generally a isolationist-ish society. So
yeah.
Like
other things I remember about them was the case of like, oh, if you play this as player characters, they're good.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, moving on with the rest of the book. Adventure sites, as I was saying, just various sites that you can just drop into a campaign, basically, and histories of it, etc. Here's a Mummy's Tomb.
Mummy's Tomb.
Yep, and the appendix, which has what you kind of want from an appendix here. Monster manual substitutions, and just in case, going over various other encounter tables. Yep, and roll for stuff, and yeah, that's about it. And wasted cap. Yeah. So yeah, it's a terrain book, but like it's not bad if you're going to be in deserts, and does have a few things I guess you pull out.
Yeah, I do like it more than Frostburn. Just so like it has more options than Frostburn that realistically will probably actually have a chance to get used.
Yeah.
And just delves more into, like, it felt like they were stretching a bit for, like, if you were actually trying to use the Frostburn book for doing a like snow campaign or a frost campaign, and being like, there's mountains,
Yeah.
and things are cold. This is like, here's waste, here's petrified forest, sandstorm. It just feels like it has more content related to what it actually wants to push, and then also has interesting monsters and that kind of stuff to go along with it.
Yeah. And in general, the terrain books, the more interesting parts of the terrain books are not really all of the weather rules and the terrain rule and the terrain stuff. Those are, at least from a like mechanical standpoint, those are very interesting from a fluff standpoint, but at a certain point, it's have the player characters prepared for this. If yes, then okay. If no, then I don't know, make up something that happens. You don't really need to be this formalized about it as much. But so the rest of the book that actually like sets up flavor and stuff you can drop into any of the waste settings. Those are much more interesting and useful in general.
Yeah.
And I would say this one just feels a little bit more interesting in general, especially in the monster section, than the
the monster section, and the fact that it does have a handful of, like, both the section there at the back where there's like tombs and that kind of thing, and the touch points,
touchstones,
which are like, here's just things you can drop into a campaign, both as a like, here's a thing they can counter, and also a benefit for them.
Yeah. I was a little bit annoyed at touchstones initially just because of how they were handled in the Planner Handbook, but in here they're a lot better. They are much more
especially
useful.
since the feed for them is right at the start of the section, and not constantly referenced throughout the book and then at the end.
So that's an accident of design, because touchstone feat was the last feat in the feat section, and the next section was the touchstone sites. They didn't actually do this. I refuse to believe they did this on purpose.
I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose. It's just the case, like, we're going to do touchstones after, or we're going to talk about touchstones after the feat section, and the feat will be in there. But then it's also like, we're going to have prestige classes and other things early on the book reference touchstones.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're not
noth-
going to actually talk about touchstones until way after everything else you read first, character-wise.
It was like multiple feats, several spells, and various other
Spells,
things, and it's like,
like
what the?
prestige classes that made like class things in reference to them. It was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is a touchstone?
That buried somewhere in the back. Okay, here's where we start describing touchstones. Oh, for fuck's
Touchstones.
sake.
And again, very like, because of the planner handbook, they're all over the place.
They are. And if you're doing a planner travel campaign, I guess, but they feel more like it's a lot easier to put for the DM to put touchstone sites into here into a desert campaign, because it's just like, okay, yeah, it's somewhere in the desert we're in. Then okay, we need to be able to travel to this specific plane to do this specific thing.
Oh, I used my like major bonus. Okay, we need to figure out a way to plane shift back over to the plane of water so I can do some nonsense thing to get my like 1 or 2 use thing back before we have to do all this again. As opposed to like, yeah, let's go like take 2 days to go out to that ruin we were at before. So I can go, take a bath in this pool so I can get raised dead again for our party.
Yeah. 2 uses of raised dead, actually, so
Yeah.
you don't even have to do that very often.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
Yeah. But yeah, the weakest part of this book, I would say, is the character features in general. Notwithstanding, like, the touchstone things are kind of they take DM buy-in if you do want to do it as a player character. They can also just be something the DM offers. Again, they're nice setting pieces.
They're something I would be more likely to drop in and then give like a player in the party a free touchstone feat. So it'd be like,
Yeah.
the person who attunes this one gets the touchstone feat for free and attunes to this one. Then like, and eventually add one for every party member event effectively. And they each get their own specific one to attune to. That way it's like, oh, here's a party boon you get just for like letting me throw this thing in an encounter.
Yeah, it makes for a nice like party reward.
Extra little bonus thing that you don't have to be like, I'm not going to take this feat at level 3. Like, no, just give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, those are things that that's actually kind of the interesting rewards that some DMs don't really think about. Of like
it works.
You can't just
works
give
nice
them
as a trinket effect.
Yeah, you can't just give players like, here's a bonus feat as a reward. Here's this touchstone feat as a reward. It's fine. There's nothing in the rules. There's nothing in the rules that explicitly says anything about that being a treasure of one sort or another. But you can't just do it. You're the DM.
Yeah, you can just give your party the ability to have a face and a message for them.
Exactly.
As a 24-hour ritual.
As a 24-hour ritual. And it's a random fae. Literally any fae.
They're bound by the rules of fae to do it. This doesn't mean they're happy.
But yeah, I think that's about all the talking about this book we can have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah. So, yeah. Our usual outro shtick, which is join us on Sunday for more Super Robot Wars 30. Possibly I might have something to do, I might not. I don't know what time that's going to happen. Okay. We might cut it short, we might not do it, I don't know.
We'll play it by ear.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear. Join us on Monday for more Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Soul Link run, which we should be getting back to, but
someone just not available last week. That happens.
Yeah. And join us back here on Thursday for what will be the last episode of season 1 of D&D in Hindsight, where we'll go over Lords of Madness, among other things. And no, I will not elaborate on other things. Till then, I'm Vincent.
I've been the Krampus.
And I'm Shiv saying, read this, go watch this on our YouTube channel. I refuse to let Frostburn be higher viewed than this.
You understand that?
I can say now that I know people are watching these. It is no longer a case of no one watches our videos. These have views and comments. I know you're there. Watch this.
Well, true. You just told the people who literally just did that thing you wanted them to do to watch it effectively. Because
Maybe
you know,
there's some people
anyone
who just jump to the back and want to see what our closing statement is. I don't know.
That would still count as a view, technically.
Okay, fine. Watch it multiple times.
Just put it on a loop and
Put it on loop in the background. This needs to be higher than Frostburn.
tell all your friends to watch this.
There's no reason Frostburn should be as high as it is.
I would
There are
prefer
other actual books that should have been watched more than Frostburn.
several. Most of them, probably.
I'm not saying this book deserves to be our second most book behind Complete Arcane. Complete Arcane, that makes sense.
Yes, Complete Arcade makes total sense.
Perfectly fine to be most viewed book. Frostburn should not be second.
I cannot explain the random whims of the YouTube algorithm and viewing audience. But yeah. And remember,
My rant's done.
Yep. So remember, everyone, until next time, if you see that mirage behind you, it's telling you that hindsight's 2020. Or something. I can't think of a better answer for this.